guys, Greg here from Premier Fitness Systems. Today I want to talk a little bit about training as far as hanging goes. One of the best things you guys can do for joint health, for the wrists, elbows, shoulders, is starting to incorporate some hanging into your training. Now, we work with a lot of older clients as well at our gym, people that don't move so well, especially through the upper body, spent 20-30 years sitting at a desk. So what I'm going to do today is show a few variations, talk a little bit about training for some of our older clients. Now, for most older people, supporting their body weight a lot of times is a little too much, so giving some variations and starting to build up some volume to open up those ranges and eventually kind of work through them is one of the best things you guys can do. So a lot of times what I like to do is really be careful as far as on the cautious side of training when you start to bring hanging in with older clients. Typically I'll dose it where I'm basically having a client maybe start for 30 seconds 2 or 3 times. And I always want to find out after that first session kind of how they felt. I think a lot of times, you think your client might be okay and they might wake up super sore or can't move just because it's a lot, even though you don't think it's that much. So one of the things I want to do is kind of show a few variations today and kind of start talking about how I like to dose the training. So one of the best ways you can start to do this is either with a Smith rack, or if you've only got bars up in the studio or the gym that you're working at, is use a box or a step. But I like to start with just the hanging, just getting someone rocking forward and backwards. So a lot of times on this one, it's basically getting the hips directly under the shoulders and just trying to get client to hang as heavy as you can for about 30 seconds. The second one I like to do is keep the hips under the shoulders. And once again, just having a client basically support as much body weight as they need to feel comfortable, but get them starting to hang. A lot of clients, especially in the beginning, start to feel their forearms, their shoulders, you watch their faces, it's a lot. But as you start to do this, especially for clients that are coming in 2-3 times a week, it's an awesome way for you to start to build some upper body strength, because their upper body will actually start to move the way it's supposed to and not be locked up. Another variation you can start to do is basically go to like a split stance. So this is kind of a step harder than the first one. So basically have the client kind of come down in a lunge position, one leg out in front, one leg behind, same thing, just rocking in and out. And then a step past that would be starting to have your client kind of keep all their weight, but their kind of toes are into the floor, either swinging forward or side to side on there. But those are a few good progressions, starting legs out in front, then go to a lunge position where they still are connected to the ground and feel safe. And then eventually, as they get used to it, build up that volume, kind of both feet are kind of behind them, still touching the floor, but almost supporting their entire body weight. And then you can start to step them up to a bar. And a lot of times with clients, what I like to start to do is I'll start for 30 seconds, maybe 3 times. That first time we kind of get into it, and then I'll start to have them maybe hang for 30 seconds, start to stretch out the forearms and the wrists, and slowly but surely get them to start hanging maybe 2 to 3 minutes every single session, having them hang longer and bring up the volume kind of steady. And then from there, you can start to have your clients, even in their mid-60s that don't move that well, starting to hang for 20-30 seconds, supporting their entire body weight. You'll be amazed how much it starts to open up the shoulders, get everything moving a lot better. But whether you're working with athletes or non-athletes, for that older population that's locked up, sits behind a desk, or just doesn't move that well, hanging, supporting body weight is one of the best things you can start to do. Stretch out everything the upper body provides, just kind of giving some slack to the spine and just get everything feeling and moving a lot better.